Welcome to our tour. I hope that you're wearing comfortable shoes since we have a lot of walking to accomplish today. Let's begin with a contemporary bird's eye view of the Centennial grounds. Several years prior to 1876, the United States invited many of the countries of the world to join in the 100th anniversary celebration of America's independence. 284 acres of untended fields and ravines located on the outskirts of Philadelphia were transformed into a magnificent park. The Centennial buildings can be seen in the foreground, and way back in the haze is the shadow of the city of Philadelphia itself. Wednesday, May 10th, 1876, was a dreary and overcast day, with intermittent periods of rain. You can see all of the open umbrellas. And yet the crowd turned out in droves in front of Memorial Hall, straining to catch a glimpse of President Ulysses S. Grant and the Brazilian Emperor Dom Pedro up on the grandstand at the official opening of the International Centennial Exposition. By the way, the snippet of music that you heard at the beginning of this presentation was from the American Centennial March, composed especially for the occasion by the German maestro Richard Wagner. Before you can enter through one of the numerous turnstiles or gates, you'll first need to purchase a ticket. These were known as package tickets and were printed by the Philadelphia Banknote Company. The price of admission was 50 cents, which would be equivalent to approximately $12 today. The ticket was good for a single day's admission sometime in 1876, between May 10th and November 10th. Unfortunately, the exhibition was closed on Sundays. The entry pass was called a package ticket since you could buy an entire package of 10 tickets. These came in an envelope officially sealed with black wax. There was no discount, and the packet cost $5, equivalent to about $120 today. Or, as this gentleman did, you could purchase a personal season pass. The holes punched in the ticket's periphery for the daily entry have been cropped from this image. In fact, there's so much to see that it would be totally impossible to see everything in a single day. This cover was an advertisement for a Philadelphia-based window glass warehouse concern. It shows the main Centennial building, which was an immense iron and glass structure covering 21.5 acres. It was a mammoth 1,880 feet long by 46 feet wide, constructed at a cost of $1.6 million. Exhibits included minerals, ores, mining, and metallurgical products, chemical manufacturers, pottery, silk fabrics, carriages, vehicles, and scientific instruments. Most significant was Alexander Graham Bell's novel invention, the telephone. Many smaller countries had exhibits, including the Orange Free State Commission, to which this cover was addressed. The South African Orange Free State's collective government exhibit included exotic examples, to name a few, of diamonds in the rough, hardy beast skins, and whips made of giraffe hide. Seen here in much finer detail are the exterior grounds of the main building. This view is cropped from an ornamental letterhead engraved and printed by Thomas Hunter of Philadelphia. The N&G Taylor Company of Philadelphia was an importer and manufacturer of tin and leaded plate that was utilized in roofing. This advertising cover spotlighted the Agricultural Hall, which was a 9-acre wooden structure built in the Gothic style at a cost of $300,000, equivalent to $7.3 million today. The hall housed fruits from all parts of the world, agricultural products, marine animals, and textile substances of vegetable or animal origin. Outside, the smell of the livestock pens must have really suffused the air with a most pungent scent. The 1875 docketing on this advertising cover from Philadelphia printer and lithographer William Mann obviously preceded the opening of the Centennial Exhibition. The cover's vignette showcased Machinery Hall. Built at a cost of $800,000, it was undoubtedly the most spectacular attraction at the Centennial. It housed 14 acres of shiny, newfangled machines, including the mighty Corliss engine, the largest steam engine in the world. Twice a day, the public gawked at its 56-ton flywheel as it revolved without noise or vibration. A finer view of Machinery Hall is seen in this image, which was taken from an illustrated letterhead. This advertising cover was produced for horticulturist and publisher Thomas Meehan. Its reverse showing Horticultural Hall in miniature detail. By far the most beautiful of the Centennial buildings, it was a vast 1.5-acre iron and glass hothouse, built at a cost of $300,000. An absolute Victorian paradise, it was resplendent with a myriad of plants, trees, garden tools, and accessories. The building, meant to be a permanent structure, continued to be open to the public until 1955, when it was unfortunately destroyed by Hurricane Hazel. This early 20th century postcard view gives us a glimpse of only a small portion of the ornate, opulent interior of Horticultural Hall. The exterior grounds of a perfectly manicured Horticultural Hall are seen in this Philadelphia lawnmower trade court from 1885. Notice how effortlessly this young boy manages his push mower. Seems as if there should be some infraction of child labor laws going on here. This advertising cover from Center City's Merchants Hotel was addressed to Richard Vaux, who had been mayor of Philadelphia from 1856 to 1857. Its vignette shows a beautiful view of Memorial Hall. Otherwise known as the Art Gallery, it was a huge granite building capped with a glass dome. It covered 1.5 acres and was built at a cost of $1.5 million, equivalent to over $36 million today. It housed the largest international art collection ever assembled in the United States. Pictures literally hung from ceiling to floor, from frame to frame. After the Centennial closed, Memorial Hall remained as an art gallery until the Philadelphia Museum of Art was completed in 1928. Over the years, Memorial Hall has served many functions. It was an exhibition hall, a police station, an indoor basketball court, and even held an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It possessed such wonderful acoustics that the Philadelphia Orchestra utilized it as a recording site. It gradually fell into disrepair with a large leaking roof. But happily, in the early part of the new millennium, the building was totally gutted and rehabilitated, and reopened in 2008 as the Please Touch Children's Museum. It was only recently temporarily shuttered because of the pandemic. The exploded cover seen here was mailed to an address in Württemberg, Germany. If you stand on your head, you'll be able to view 4 of the 5 Centennial buildings. No, you're not seeing things. This cover was addressed upside down and bears images of all 5 of the buildings. Now that you've been given the tour, I hope that you'll be able to name all of the 5 buildings. There was a great concern that there wouldn't be adequate hotel space to accommodate the thousands of visitors flocking to the Centennial. A number of magnificent hotels, each vying to outdo the other, were constructed within a short distance of the entrance gates. This is a page from a Centennial guidebook listing the better hotels in the environs of Philadelphia that had a capacity of 50 beds or more. The daily charge for the most expensive room was $5. That doesn't sound like much, but considering today's rate of inflation, this would be equivalent to approximately $120 per day. And if you stayed in a room based upon the European plan, this meant that the charge was for the room only. Meals and sundries were extra. The Grand Exposition Hotel was but a short walk from the Centennial Gates. It was advertised as the largest hotel in the world. It was built entirely of brick, was 3 stories in height, and had 1,325 rooms, with a bed capacity of 3,500. You could sleep here in style for as little as $1 per night. The large dining halls were appointed to seat 1,500 persons. The Grand Central Hotel boasted itself to be first class and the Saratoga of Philadelphia. Each room had windows, and the hotel itself was situated upon an elevated location, both of which would be a necessity during the steamy Philadelphia summer. Hot and cold running baths and water closets were several of its additional amenities. The Globe Hotel was described as being a monster in terms of its size. It was 5 stories high and covered approximately 81,000 square feet. It had 1,150 rooms, and the dining hall fed 30,000 persons per day. It was advertised as being luxurious and that the guests were, quote, not forced to rinse their faces in a soup plate full of stagnant water and wipe them with a pillowcase. The Globe was located close to the Centennial's main entrance. The Atlas Hotel was located but 100 yards from the exhibition grounds. It was 4 blocks in length, contained 1,300 rooms, and could accommodate 5,000 persons. The hotel consisted of a number of frame buildings connected by covered galleries. The Transcontinental Hotel was built of brick and was triangular in shape. It was 5 stories high, contained 500 rooms, and could accommodate between 1,200 and 1,500 guests. The hotel was built at a cost of $250,000. This advertisement for the Transcontinental boasted steam-driven elevators and electric call bells. It had private baths, unlike many European-style hotels of the time, that had a single bathroom located at the end of the hall. The Westminster Hotel was located 2 blocks from the exposition grounds. It had 350 rooms with a bed capacity of 900. The room rate was more expensive, being a princely $4 per day. This trade card truly says it all. The Westminster was a very classy hotel with lovely, spacious surrounding grounds. The obverse and reverse of the Belmont Hotel are seen on this slide. This stately hotel was located 4 blocks from the Centennial Exposition. Its room rate was $3.50 per day and proudly claimed to be a first-class hotel, offering hair mattresses. That's hair with an H, not air with an A, and spring beds in each room. The United States Hotel was located 100 yards south of the main exposition building. It had 324 rooms and a bed capacity of 600. The room rate was $4 per day. The hotel's breakfast menu included stewed oatmeal mush, stewed kidneys, and breaded pig's feet. Yum! Congress Hall was located 100 yards from the principal entrances to the exposition grounds. This advertising cover sports a view of the main Centennial building, while the trade card gives us a nice look at the hotel's exterior. The 4-story brick hotel's rate was $1 per day, and there were ample accommodations for 1,000 guests. The Elm Avenue Hotel was located just opposite the exposition grounds. The advertising cover seen here shows a view of the main building. The lovely multicolored trade card depicts vignettes of all 5 of the Centennial buildings. The hotel had 500 rooms with a room rate of $1 per day. Now we go from the sublime to the ridiculous. Alling's Palace Hotel was comprised of a series of tents that were placed side by side. It brazenly boasted to be, quote, perfectly dry, fly-proof, and had rugs on the floors. It was located 50 yards from Agricultural Hall's stockyard exhibits, which was probably one of the hotel's finer attributes. For those unable to secure residence within one of the better hotels located on the exposition grounds, the Centennial Lodging House Agency was available to find a place for you to stay. It had been organized to secure first-class accommodations at reasonable rates for Centennial visitors, and claimed to be able to make available 10,000 rooms in hotels, private and boarding houses at a rate of $2 to $2.50 per day, including meals. It was endorsed by the Centennial Board of Finance, the Mayor of Philadelphia, and the presidents of the railways leading into the city. Of course, you might end up finding yourself in this sort of situation. Well, my friends, our day's come to an end, and it's time to leave the Centennial. All aboard, and good luck reaching home before 3 a.m.